up here by Lincoln Park. Yeah, we're just gonna tootle around here. We'll end up down south of Oz Park. We'll head down Fullerton, and we'll head by where we caught up with Steve Lyon last night. And yeah, look at this. It's kind of foggy, but it's not really. The snow stopped. There's Clark Street looking south here. We're at Clark and Fullerton. I'm just sticking around my place today because I went into the office yesterday and we went downtown and we caught some things there. Hey, Sabrina, Suburban Garden, how you doing? Good morning. Yeah, we got about 20 degrees, 6:54 in the a.m. here, Chicago, Illinois. We're on Fullerton. We're west of Clark Street and the lake. See the sun starting to rise over the lakefront. People are working out there at the Lincoln Park Fitness Center. Casati's Modern Italian's been closed for almost a year now. Isabella's has the Christmas trees. But yeah, we'll just head down Fullerton. We'll check out the snow. We'll toot around the neighborhood here. Lincoln Park, no big deal. But yeah, we ran into Ernesto Chicago Nuggies by the zoo last night, and him and I don't even know if he ran into Jose Mahuka. Yeah, Jose Mahuka. I can't. M-U-J. It's like Musica. Yeah. But Ernie ran into Steve Lyon first. Steve Lyon was at the zoo. Steve Lyon had like 2,000 people watching him at the zoo, which we were discussing that. We're always baffled by the algorithm because Jose and Ernie were at the same zoo and I was at the same zoo. And, it's so hit and miss. Sometimes you can go to the zoo and you get like 50 people watching and no one's into the zoo lights. And everybody's, I congratulate Steve Lyon. Steve Lyon has a knack, and he's better than I am. It was great. Like when the snow hit last week, he had a live where he had like thousands of people watching, multiple thousands of people watching. He got 1.6 million likes in one live. I've never gotten over 1 million likes. I've been live streaming for 3 years, both on TikTok and YouTube. The most I've ever gotten in one live likes is for St. Patrick's Day. We got like 400,000, and that was for St. Patrick's Day, Dying the River Green. I had 4,000 people tuning in at one time, and I only got to. But Steve Lyon goes on like 6-hour walks. It's amazing. He actually takes bathroom breaks, which I saw him do it last night. He was at the Wiener Circle last night, and it was good that the Wiener staff was engaging with the people in the comments. He went to the bathroom for 5 minutes. Steve Lyon went to the bathroom, and the phone was just sitting there filming the wall of the Wiener Circle. And I think it's because the staff of the Wiener Circle was interacting with it, throwing fries at the camera and stuff, that his viewership went up, even though Steve Lyon, no one was talking for 5 minutes, and it was just on the wall. His viewership went up from 600 to 700. It's amazing how the algorithm does that. But the algorithm is unfeeling, unthinking, doesn't care about, it just does a calculation of how much advertising it can sell off of how many eyes are on the screen. And Steve Lyon has I think it's great. I wish him success. He has the potential to be like an all day New York City, 800,000 follower. He has the potential, and I want to support him, and I want to support Ernesto Chicago Nuggies, and I want to support Overtime Seb and Jennifer You Should Eat and J City Walking Girl. We've been, she doesn't need my help, just like nobody needs my help. I don't think I can help people. I think I need Steve Lyon's help. Like Steve Lyon could help me, like give me pointers because he's live streaming better than I am, and I commend him, And but we ran into Steve Lyon because last night I saw he was walking like a block from my place, so I was trying to ask him a question in the comments. But once you get thousands of people, the comments are flying by so fast, he couldn't read my comment. As soon as I would do my comment, it would fly off the screen, and I would do it like 10 times, and he couldn't even see it. So I went and met him in the street, and I was like, what time is the Wiener Circle thing tomorrow? Because the Wiener Circle was giving away like 2,000 hot dogs, and that's what he was talking to the people at Wiener Circle about when he was there last night. And they said it's going to start at 11. So 11 a.m., Wiener Circle, they're going to give out 2,000 hot dogs. I think it has something to do with the Bears Super Bowl shuffle, like a shirtless guy, like some Bears guy shirtless. I don't know what the whole promotion is, and I'm not getting paid by Wiener Circle to do it. I just live near Wiener Circle, and I'm working from home today, so it'll be easy for me to just swing by there. I might start the lunch live a little early today since I'm working from home, and we'll check out the Wiener Circle, and then we might head into the park and see if kids are sled riding on the hill there. I got to make sure I stay to one side of the side while people are jogging. Hey, we saw this we saw this beautiful. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're on Fullerton here. We're heading down west on Fullerton towards Halstead, and here they got the nice garland with the Christmas bows. Look how nice this looks. Yeah, walking the dog. Yeah, this house, I think this house is the one that decorate the fencing here because it goes with their porch. And hey, look at the beautiful garland here in the snow. Yeah, we got maybe another inch overnight. Makes it look pretty, but if you got a car, see they got their windshield wipers up if it was like freezing rain, so it wouldn't stick to the windshield. I'm missing all the comments. Hubert, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. One golden newbie in there. Robbie, yeah. Izzy, how's everybody doing? Their Grandma's Corner. Eric, ECG there. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in here. And yeah, Rockford, how you doing here? Now you're in the Philippines. Beautiful architecture. Yeah, so cities are not for everybody. That's why you're watching this. This is not a recommendation for anybody to live this way. Move to the city. You can stay right where you're at in the country. I grew up in the country. You can stay in the suburbs. You can stay where you feel safe and cozy and where you're most comfortable. Why this is interesting is you can tune in. You can see, you know, what the big bad city Chicago looks like. This is not representative of the whole city. This is a very wealthy, gentrified neighborhood called Lincoln Park. But, you know, we live in a country where the whole presidency promotes luxury and American wealth and greatness, and then we get Americans that voted for that guy that tune in, and when they see, you know, the past American greatness, which most of Chicago's greatness is in its past, just like America, which is what the whole moniker of Make America Great Again, it shows our greatness is in our past. And we cannot build housing like this anymore. You know, it's too expensive. Or if you could, no one could afford it, or afford to pay the taxes on it. And it's almost becoming that way anyway, you know. And China's going through a real estate burst of their bubble, which it happened like 10 years ago, and now it's happening again. They're hitting the limits of growth. I think the tariffs are another sign that we're hitting the limits of globalization. We're hitting the limits of globalization, and we're returning to protectionism. And I just hope it doesn't lead to another world war, because that's what happened the last two times. We've been through other ages of globalization, and it led to world wars. Here's the, which is mainly colonialism, you know, into nationalistic empires. But here's the, we're at Orchard Street. Look how the sign, you can't even read the sign because the snow's on. Yeah, let's head up Orchard Street here. We'll check out the nice housing. Beautiful residential tree-lined streets of Lincoln Park. Yes, this is expensive, gentrified, unattainable luxury housing. I'm not trying to promote that over the regular working class housing that you find mostly in Chicago, and that's where I grew up, near trailer parks in the country. I grew up like Eminem, a poor white guy. You could call me white trash. I moved to the city. I cannot afford these things either. I live in a one-bedroom apartment, so people always think I'm promoting like luxury brands and stuff like that. We got a president that does that. I don't need to do that. You could buy his luxury brands. You could buy into his country club. You know, and people fault me for showing the luxury side of the city when we got a whole country that promotes this. And believe me, most of the wealth is in the suburbs. It's not in the city, even with all this wealth, generational wealth in these buildings, you know. And it's a lot of taxes. You know, these are multi-million-dollar housing with the land and the housing on it, and then it's high cost to maintain. You're in an historic district, so you're limited with what you can do. Most of it's just to maintain property values, and you got to pay high taxes, and you got to pay to park on your own street. So welcome to Chicago. Yeah, how's everybody doing here? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Home Alone. So people often ask about the Home Alone house. That's up in the northern suburbs there. That's about 20 miles north of where we're at, or 15 miles. It's not even in the city of Chicago, but a lot of those John Hughes movies were all filmed in the North Shore suburbs. we're in Lincoln Park here. But yeah, you know, Oak Park has these tree-lined streets, Chicago, parts of Chicago and Evanston, and they got it up there in Winnetka and Kenilworth and up to Lake Forest. Big lots that go, people actually own lakefront. But here we're at Orchard in Arlington, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We got about 20 degrees. We got 7:03 in the AM here. And here's Arlington. They had some, we saw Steve Lyon here last night. I jumped in front of his camera. I think he probably, I hope I didn't freak him out. I was like a crazy person that just kind of hijacked his live for a second. But I wanted to find out when the Wiener Circle was having their promotion today. So we'll swing by there, see if there's a long line. But it'd probably be much to do about nothing. Yeah, beautiful city, millions, yeah. Yeah, you know, they got Zillow, you got apartments.com, there's many real estate. Some Chicago live streamers like Nick Koiken are real estate agents. You can actually, they'll hook you up. They'll actually tell you what properties are available and what's in your price range, if anything. But yeah, I think this building went condo back around 2000 because I remember I worked with somebody that moved into this building. They bought a condo because it was like apartments, I think. And so that happens sometimes. Free hot dogs, pretty wild. Yeah, that's why I want to see what time they were doing it. We'll check it out today, and then we might head into the park to see if they're doing any sled riding on that Oglesby Hill. But maybe I'll go on the weekend, because I guess today's a school day. I forget today's Tuesday. I do have to go to work, working from home. So maybe nobody will be sledding at lunchtime. What am I thinking? It gets dark so early. Tonight we want to go to the Lincoln Park Zoo, even though Steve Lyon was there last night. Ernesto Chicago Nuggies was there, and apparently Jose was there, but I didn't see him. And I don't even know if Ernie saw him there. But tonight they're having some. I think it's recycled materials. It's an artist collective that takes stuff from garbage dumps and turns it into artwork and sells it as Christmas gifts. And there's going to be a bunch of booths of that. So it's like even better than recycling. It's like called upcycling, where you take abandoned objects and give them new use and put them back into the marketplace. Isn't that interesting? If we could have more stuff in our economy like that, where it actually could support a whole sector of our economy that just reuses stuff instead of it ending up in landfills, it creates new artwork or ornaments or other things that you could use in daily life. Here's the St. Clement's Church. The church is modeled off of the Hagia Sophia, generally in Istanbul. Used to be Byzantium, then used to be by Constantinople. But St. Clement's, they got a parochial school over there. And hey, shoveling the snow here, beautiful day. Look at this. There's really beautiful housing, larger lots. This is Deming Street. We skipped Arlington, and we'll head back Wrightwood. We're just cruising through the Lincoln Park neighborhood. We got about another inch of snow overnight. Yeah, look at that detail. Look at the detail on the turret there. That stonework. Yeah, these are true. Like these on these bigger lots are like $10 million. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not into selling real estate. That's not why I do this. I'm a city planner. We just show. This is convenient and easy for me to stream because I live near here. And again, I don't live in a mansion like this. I live in a one-bedroom apartment with one bathroom and one kitchen and one living room, and that's it. It's like 800 square feet. There's see, they got a huge coach house back there. This is amazingly large building. See the large lot? See how they have well, this is an empty lot. I wonder if this is gonna, so see that that's a museum. There's a museum there. We'll go by it on Wrightwood. Last year when I went by it, it was changing its exhibits. So I'll look into that. Maybe this winter, maybe we'll get into that museum. It's like an art museum. They have gallery space up there. But here, look at these amazing Gilded Age mansions here on Deming Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. And it looks nice with the snow. I want to catch these buildings with the snow. That building's 10 stories tall. I think the top has nice views to the skyline. That's an apartment building that you can rent, I think, right here on Deming Street. So you don't have to be a multi-millionaire to live on the street. You just have to be willing to pay for high rent for a small space. Maybe not have a car, like me. Yeah, good morning. How's tea lime tea time there? Sean is tuning in, Lambie tea. Yeah, what's shaking there? Yeah, I'm missing all the comments there. Yeah, it looks like a postcard. Yeah, it looks like a postcard with all these beautiful houses here. Thanks for tuning in. Early 7:09 in the AM here. So I'll walk until about 8 o'clock, which we usually do. But hey, this neighborhood has good bones, good streetscape. We got multi-family mixed in with single family. We got these mid-century moderns that infilled there. These apartment buildings, and they get the density increases slightly. The multi-families, you head towards Clark ever so subtly as the street curves to match the angle of Clark Street. Yeah, Diane's tuning in there. The advice guy. How you doing there? Yeah, people of all income brackets live in the city. Thanks for pointing that out, and I point that out too. All cities are like that. There's vast income disparity in all cities. There's vast concentration of wealth in most cities. Even a city like Detroit has concentrations of wealth and pockets. Mainly in the suburbs of Detroit as well. You can go to Grosse Pointe and Pontiac and find mansions there as well. The old automobile giants. Hey, we got a happy penguin here. We got Santa on the shark. We got snowflakes. Yeah, snowflakes in the snow. There's Santa on the shark. He's peeling out there on the shark. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Santa on the shark. That goes with the penguin. That's nice. Here's Rudolph. Hey, look at this housing. Yeah, look at this giant housing here across from this mid-century modern. Deming. 531 Deming Place if you're trying to find it on the Google Maps there. But hey, look at that imposing gate here. Look at that. Yeah, Deming Street. Hey, you got to shovel the car. Hey, look at that. See, nice stately homes here, especially that one. That one's just, it's almost 2 lots wide. So we'll end up by the Collectivo Coffee. We'll end up back at Clark Street. We'll head up to Wrightwood. But yeah, probably at lunchtime or before early. But I'll probably start lunch live early. They said they're going to start that Wiener Circle hot dog giveaway at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. And somebody's donating like 2,000 buns. They were giving away macaroni and cheese downtown. I got one box by the... They were just handing you like just the boxes of macaroni and cheese like you buy at the store. And I walked like 2 blocks away and they were trying to give me more. I'm like, I don't have enough pockets for all this macaroni and cheese. I'm walking around here. I could have got like a whole cake. I could have kept going back and got me like a year's supply of macaroni and cheese. They weren't even checking. They were just trying to unload the truck there. But here's, yeah, back to Clark Street here, Collectivo Coffee. Look at all the tables. Yeah, look at all the tables with the snow and the icicles. Everybody's inside there. Nobody's outside today. There, large studio condo for rent. 607. Yeah, some of these might be old. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Hey, thanks G3 in Bloom. Thanks for the gift there. Yeah. Rogers Park, hey, I don't get up there too much. We were up there a while back. Yeah, we went up to Loyola, which is where Rogers Park starts. It's north of there. There's East Rogers Park, West Rogers Park. It's near the northern border of Chicago, near Evanston. It's a nice area. There's some dicey areas near Howard and Jarvis, but nothing I'm sure you can't handle. One time I got off the train station there and people saw me live streaming and they got all intimidated. They thought I was with the police. I said, hey, I'm just a live streamer. I'm not trying to affect whatever you're trying to do on this corner here. And the guy was like, hey, he's vlogging. He's like, it's okay. And they let me go. But the guy actually like bumped my shoulder and was like trying to get in my face and intimidate me for filming. But that could happen anywhere in this city. It's not just because it's in Rogers Park. But hey, Studio Salons. That used to be a hospital. This building here. Now it's Studio Salons. There's a nice apartment building right on Clark Street. So we just joined. We're on Clark Street. I'll head down Wrightwood. We'll head further west. We'll go back into the neighborhood. We'll get off of Clark Street. There's a scooter buried in the snow. Can you find the scooter buried in the snow? Look at it. There's a cone. Yeah, a lot of stuff gets buried in the snow. Yeah, people do like the historic districts. They got charm and character, and that's why I film them, you know, and that's why people tune in to see them. It helps with the snow. Comes this postcard view. Hey, you can sit on these picnic tables. Go to Del Sol Korean Street Barbecue. I'd recommend this place. It's good Korean barbecue. Pretty briny swine, Wrightwood. So we'll come back up to the Wiener Circle at lunchtime. There's the Wiener Circle right there. Steve Lyon was there last night. And we'll head down Wrightwood here. And it is a little slippery. Be careful if you're out and about today. The snow stopped. People are salting the sidewalks. This is Chicago, Wrightwood and Clark. We just left Clark Street. And we'll head down Wrightwood all the way to Lincoln. We'll go under the elevated tracks there. Go down Lincoln Avenue. See what's happening over that way. All right, good morning there, David. How you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. California there. Chris is tuning in there. Debris, yeah, you see that, Chris? There was a scooter debris there in the snow. It's gonna get taken away. But hey, look at this multi-family housing here. This is Wrightwood. But yeah, Lux Chicago Vista, she was streaming from her balcony last night. I saw Ken's was walking over to the Home Depot. She was on Roosevelt in the South Loop. So I commend her for live streaming. I commend Chicago Vista. She was walking around earlier today with the snow. There's this new guy that Ernie pointed me out. I didn't even know. There's so many new live streamers. There's this guy called Chicago MP4s. Anybody running? He blew up all, like in the last 2 weeks, he blew up to like 20,000. I didn't even know. And I think he just recently got into live streaming. But see, it just shows you the algorithm does what the algorithm does. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I've seen people with amazing content sit for years and not take off, and I've seen people with poor content that never answer any comments, that never follow anybody back, go viral, and they could just film the wall and they get followers, and it doesn't make any sense. It's just almost like random. But it's just whatever they could sell advertising off of, and it's more complex than that. I'm sure there's a bunch of calculations running in the background. My content, every once in a while, I delve into history and I talk about political things, and the algorithm doesn't like that. It doesn't like when, either you got to be really controversial and root for a team. That's what Darren Monroe does, and he's very successful at it, where he does a lot of political content. But if you do any political content, it promotes whatever side you're pushing for and demonizes the other, which both sides do it. And anytime I play that game, you lose half your audience. You get a really rabid audience that supports what you're doing, but you get a lot of people against you, and then you get people trying to take your account down, which I've dealt with that, and Darren Monroe's dealt with that as well. You almost have to bring your lawyer everywhere you go. That's the signs of the times we're living in. So then I try to defer back to just talking about the weather and the birds and squirrels, and then I feel like a automaton. Like I've taken my live streaming's taken my humanity away. Like I want to just be myself, my true person. And if people ask me a political question, I want to answer it. But I know anytime either way, there's same as me. Like I'll be watching somebody and then I'll find out their true political feelings, and then I'll lose interest in them. And I've alienated a lot of my audience by exposing my political beliefs. And that's the risk you run anytime you do this. Steve Lyon's much better at me. He doesn't engage in comments that he knows there's no way you can win either way. And he's pretty confrontational, easygoing, even keeled. Doesn't get emotional like I do and go ranting and raving and yelling and screaming. And some people like my rants, but I offend a lot of people with them because it does touch a nerve. And I don't mean to be that way. That's the way I am. To thine own self be true. How could I maintain a fake persona for this long? That would be exhausting. You know, if I was a two-faced person, why would I wear this face, like Abraham Lincoln used to say? Here we're at Orchard Street. We're at Orchard Street and Wrightwood and Orchard here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. And for anybody, I'm waiting for someone to ask me to go to O-Block. TikTok is disqualifying videos now. It's like they flipped a switch. All my O-Block videos, which I have several, they've now said are disqualified for the For You page. So I love this. Is that, you know, I'm fully expecting, like, when I go back to my reruns, like, they'll just start disqualifying all of them. You know, it's just like retroactively, like they change the terms and conditions and I no longer comply. You know, it's just the way it is. The more you deal with AI, algorithmic AI intelligence, the more I resent it. I think once society starts encountering AI on a daily basis, when AI is teaching your kids and driving your car and unlocking your house and turning off and on your credit cards, sometimes AI is frustrating to deal with because you're not dealing with a human. And sometimes you want to talk to a human, and the whole reason these billionaire companies are so desperate to be the first to create God and sell it back to humanity is it's going to be so profitable, and there's not going to be a human to talk to. You know, I even think Google right now, it's very hard for anybody to talk to a real person at TikTok too. This Gemini just went through it with YouTube. He took him a long time to get to where he could talk to a real person to talk about his account. Because anytime you talk to the AI robot, it's like talking to a brick wall by design. And eventually it's going to affect our politics that way, where AI will win an election. AI, just like it already started with Cambridge Analytica. Don't think that was like the first beginning of it, where they manipulate an election through artificial intelligence, you know. And don't think our foreign adversaries would. The CIA would like to do. They're trying to do that in Honduras right now. We're trying to affect the election of Honduras, and you know, do people know this is going on? The CIA has always tried to affect the election outcomes of Central American and South American nations, at least since World War II, and it led to a lot of our support of a lot of dictators, including dictators like Noriega that we had to take out later, like Saddam Hussein, that we first were allies with because they were useful, because they were fighting our enemies, like Iran were drug traffickers, and then Noriega became a drug trafficker himself, and that's what Trump's going after Maduro now in Venezuela for the same reason. It's almost like Maduro's the modern day Manuel Noriega. Who remembers Noriega, the leader of Panama? We almost fought a war over that. Here's Wrightwood and Halstead. That was in the Reagan administration. But here we're at Halstead and Wrightwood, Lincoln Park, Chicago. How's everybody doing here? Hey, look, abolished fur. Here, we'll cross the street here, Halstead. There's Kingston Mines. Kingston Mines, the blues place. We've got reruns on Kingston Mines. The actual Club Blues used to be down there. We got a TikTok on that, but it's closed. We're afraid we're going to lose the building. Here it is, Kingston Mines here. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there, Diana. There, Barry, how you doing there? Julie, Shauna, thanks for being on. Here's the Kingston Mines. There it is. So blues is, yeah, Kingston Mines has been here for a long time. It's got 2 stages, and it's a classic blues joint in Chicago here on Halstead, just south of Wrightwood. There's the old blues. I got a rerun on it. You message me if you want to. You got memories of the old blues. There was an old small blues joint there. Yeah, I know the stage was in the back. I remember one time they set the stage right by the door. It was like summertime, so you could see the band playing right in the front. They would sometimes mix it up. But blues, old blues music venue here in Chicago, across from Kingston Mines. Here's Las Fuentes. the fountains. Wrightwood and Halstead, Lincoln Park, Chicago. The Wild Hare's up there. The Wild Hare used to be up in Wrigleyville. It was a reggae bar. Still is a reggae bar. Now it's down here near Wrightwood and Halstead. People trying to draw stuff in the snow. I don't know what that is. But here, look at, there's the snow on the car. Kids going to school here in the snow. Yeah, you had to practically walk on the stage at the Blues use the bathroom. I agree. You remember that place. Yeah, you know that place. It was so tiny. That was such an intimate blues bar, which was, you know, so unique. You know, it was just like a front room bar with barely enough room to get by. The people sit there in a small stage. And you, like you said, you had to walk over the stage to get to the bathroom. And people were always walking to use the bathroom. Hey, take one, bring one. Here, there's the Grinch. Yeah, the free library. Let's see what's in the free library. Here they got look at the little rabbit. A beginner's guide to Japan. Yeah, the Grinch. See, they can't give away books. We got some ornaments in the tree. Hey, look at the snow. We saw some people doing snowball fights there yesterday. Hey, he's out salting the sidewalk. Yeah, the old brownstones here. Yeah, Wrightwood. There's some new brownstones. There's the old ones over there. Brick buildings. Yeah, Wrightwood and Dayton Street. We'll go under the elevated track. See the guard department. You go up to the porch there. Alvin's tuning in there. Booze Mill. See, it's just like a Christmas story. How you doing? I'm filming the kids over here. It's just like a Christmas story. They're going to school there, and they got the snow. That movie was supposed to be set in Gary and Hammond in Northwest Indiana. They used Cleveland, downtown Cleveland, for some of the shots there at the beginning. You know, and when they go visit Santa Claus. I think it was supposed to be downtown Gary, but by the 1970s when that movie was filmed, they didn't want to use downtown Gary, so they used Cleveland. Hey, we'll head down Wrightwood Street here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. There's the train. We'll go under the train tracks here. Yeah, Valdetta, Leslie, Tammy, Eric, how you doing there? Yeah, wouldn't that be nice to have snow for just one day and then go back to the 70, 80 degree weather? You know, the snow in Chicago, it's always more enjoyable this time of the year, December, when you got the Christmas lights up and you're just beginning the winter and you forgot about how fun it was to play in snow. But then once it gets to January, February, especially March and April, and you still getting snow, that's when you get really tired of it. So we'll enjoy it now. There's the train heading north there. I think that was a brown line or purple line heading north. We'll probably see another train because that's a pretty active track this time of the morning because there's 3 lines that go down there. If you just tune in, we're in Chicago. If you like this content, hit the thumbs up there. We got 7:27 in the AM. We got about 20 degrees here. We're just checking out the snow. There it is. There's the train. Can't see what it says. It looks like a purple line, but it might say not in service. I can't read what it says. Yeah, CTA. Oh yeah, so the Santa Holiday Elves going around. I haven't seen it yet. I think it started on the green line. Eventually it'll get to the pink and the brown lines. There's a website where, and I need to brush up on that. We'll try to get. I'm very bad about getting the CTA holiday train. What it is, they decorate the whole train of cars with Christmas lights. They'll have cocoa and stuff. Jay City Walking Girl's been able to get it, and one of the cars will actually have Santa. It'll be an open flatbed car with Santa Claus on it, and he'll be doing ho ho ho. I saw somebody saw it from the South Loop. I think it was on the orange line. It looked like it was on the orange line. Santa was still going ho ho ho, even though there was nobody seeing him do it, except for the person filming from their balcony like 50 stories up. But the Metro also has holiday train, same thing, where they decorate a whole car going to a different suburb. Here we go. Here we're going to get the CTA train coming by here, Wrightwood, near Lincoln in Chicago. Hey, scenes of the city here. I guess I just simply need to take the train more often this time of the year, and then we'll catch the holiday train. That's the problem. I walk too much and take the train not enough. But here we'll head down Lincoln. We got 729. We'll head down towards DePaul. Yeah, somebody tried to write something in there and it snowed over it. Hey, the Parlay Lincoln Park. There's a Lou Malnati's Pizza. There's all over the city here. Well, yeah, and your name's Libtears, so yeah, I expect probably what's going to come next here. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Not everybody can live in warm climates. Somebody has to live in the north. If everybody lived in areas that didn't snow, Florida and California would be so populous and the cost of housing would be so high. You know, somebody's got to live in Canada, somebody's got to live in Alaska, somebody's got to live in Chicago, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. Somebody's got to live there. The Inuit and indigenous people, even people from Scandinavia, Laplanders, people in Siberia, people have been living in cold weather climates for centuries and millennia. And your body can adapt to it, just like your body can adapt to hot weather. And my counter is, yeah, snow is annoying and it's not for everybody. Different strokes for different folks. You live in Florida, you live in Hawaii, you live in a nice place, that's great. I'll visit you in the wintertime. I enjoy those places. I enjoy your beaches. We'll support your local tourism. You can come to Chicago in the summer when it's nice and warm. And my counter to anybody that lives in paradise there, would you live in Florida in the summertime without air conditioning? You see, that's the trade-off. And it was much harder to live in Florida before air conditioning. And the population of Florida was much less before air conditioning, including Texas cities. So just think about that. And we use air conditioning in Chicago. You know, I lived 2 summers without air conditioning. It's hard to do. It gets really hot. You can't sleep at night. We had a heat wave in Chicago in '96. Hundreds of people died because they didn't have air conditioning. And that was in Chicago. So imagine what would happen in the deep south. So now we're all subject to brownouts, blackouts, hurricanes, floods, destroy the infrastructure that happened in the wintertime in Texas. The whole grid went down. It was stressed. My sister and brother-in-law lived through that, where they told them to run the pool, but it was below freezing, and their waterfall was running on their pool, but it wasted electricity while the neighborhood over was out of electricity. But they told the neighborhood association, still run your pool, even though the neighborhood over didn't have electricity in the wintertime to keep their pipes from freezing. It was weird. We live in this weird high energy usage society. And if you don't think we live in a high energy usage society, talk to the people that mine Bitcoin that's losing value, and talk to all these AI data centers that are building nuclear power plants and are going to compete with your energy bill. And if your energy bills go up because of AI, who are you going to blame? You know, you're going to be like, you're looking at your electricity bill going through the roof and your cell phone bill going through the roof to pay for AI. We now know the Fat Finger, the Son, S-O-N, that's his last name, from SoftBank. He owns SoftBank, a huge bank in Asia there. He sold his entire stake in Nvidia stock, and he said he was sad to do it, but he had to because they had to raise capital to invest in another data center. That's what's going to happen. All these AI, they're investing in each other, and then they're going to be very cutthroat competitive, and there's going to be winners and losers, and there's going to be a major company, a multi-trillion-dollar company that could potentially fail, just like in the dot-coms. And look at the precipitous drop of Bitcoin earlier this week. You know, it could happen in other markets too. That's why the current administration is so desperately trying to replace the Fed chief, because they want some lackey in there that they can control from the executive branch. And they'll run interest rates to zero, and then if it leads to more inflation, who are you going to blame? But they might luck out, and it'll balance everything out. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. Hey, we'll go to Lily's. I'm just speculating here. Live music Fridays and Saturdays. Bands want it there if you want to play at Lily's. Yeah, this is a pretty good entry-level place if you're a new band and want to play there. You can play at Lily's. Taste of China. Hey, look at this boulangerie, patisserie. We're on Lincoln here. Yeah, we'll show the train going across here. You live in Florida? Hey, you're moving back to Minnesota. That's great. Yeah, go back to the family there. See, there's a lot of lakes in Minnesota, and you know, look at that. It's Lincoln Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. There's your train. We got December the 2nd, 2025. We're just walking around before I work from home. Tonight we'll go to the Lincoln Park Zoo. They got some artist vendors we'll check out. And at lunchtime we'll check out the Wiener Circle. We'll see how big the lines are. They're having a hot dog. They're going to give away 2,000 hot dogs. Check out their website. I don't know if there's a catch. I don't know if there's something you got to do to get the hot dog. But it has something to do with the 85 Bears, I think, and Wiener Circle. They always have these giveaways. Usually they have some funny promotion that goes along with it. And I'm the dope that gives them free advertising. Wiener Circle's not the best hot dog in the city. It's just a unique venue like Ed DeBevick's where they heckle you. And the talent of the staff there serving up your hot dogs. Give you a chocolate cake shake. Or chocolate shake there at the Wiener Circle. But here, if you just join, we're on Lincoln Avenue here in Chicago, Illinois. We're heading down towards DePaul. I'm just walking around the neighborhood in the slush here. Checking out the weather here. Yeah, I'm not far from home. That's one of the reasons I'm working from home today, that there's a chance of ice and chance of slippery weather. That's why people ask if we walk in the wintertime. Steve Lyon, we all walk in the wintertime. Ernesto, Jose, because you know why? We live in Chicago. You got to get out in this weather, whether you live stream or not. Yeah, it's not too bad. 20 degrees. I'm getting, once you get used to 20 degrees, you'll be okay. You just got to dress in layers, put something on your hat, or put a hat on your head, I mean, and keep moving. As long as you keep moving, your body will produce heat. And if you wear enough layers, it'll trap that heat inside your clothing, and you just got to keep your extremities, you know, covered, your hat and your hands, and double socks. Have some good boots, so good waterproof boots, because you got to step off that slushy snow and step into the gutter, and it'll be wet with the salty, briny slush, and you'll get a wet, salty foot, and then you'll be salty. But here's the Red Lion. Yeah, let's cross the street here. Here comes, I'm gonna get scooped up by the plow here. Here comes Mr. Plow. There's the elevated tracks here, but hey, they got the snow plow. There you go. Mr. Plow, that's my name. Look at Chris, look at this. What's the liability of this? It's even laying on the sidewalk. So I'm gonna do a good deed here and just, I don't even want to touch this thing. I don't want my fingerprints on it. I just want to push it off the sidewalk so somebody doesn't trip over it, you know. So I said, who's liable? What other business can you run where you could just leave your articles of business lying on the sidewalk for people to trip over when there's snow? You know, I'm waiting for the lawsuit against Coco. Someone was ran over by a drive-by with Coco, the robotic cooler delivery system. Here's the Biograph Theater. So this is where John Dillinger met his end in 1934. If you watch the movie Public Enemies with Johnny Depp, they actually use this. This is the true, correct historical location. This is what it looked like in 1934. Remember, Bonnie and Clyde had just been killed earlier that year in Louisiana. John Dillinger was public enemy number 1. J. Edgar Hoover's public enemies list. He was in Indiana. They lured him back to Chicago. He shouldn't have came back, just like the movie, but he did. He went to this movie theater. They knew he was there, so the G-men had this place surrounded. When he came out, he noticed him. He ran for this alley over here, and they shot him in the back. The fatal bullet came out of his eye, and people that came out of the theater, they realized what happened, and they dipped their handkerchiefs in his blood as souvenirs. It was such a gruesome part of the 1930s, people realized they were witnessing history, pretty much the end of the Prohibition gangland violence era, because Al Capone was already in jail by 1934. They got him for tax evasion. Bugs Moran was already diminished. And the rest of them were pretty much dead, killed off by each other. But here's John Dillinger. Here's the mural. The Taquito is gone. There was a restaurant that commissioned this mural, and the Untouchable tours still stop here. This is roughly the alley. I don't know if it's exactly the same situation it was in 1934. Here's his quote there, John Dillinger. All my life I want to be a bank robber, carry a gun and wear a mask. Now that it's happened, I guess I'm just about the best bank robber they ever had. And I sure am happy. So he liked what he did. John Dillinger, rebel without a cause. Well, it was Prohibition. They said, you know, somebody else said it before he said it. There was actually a book about it. They said, why do you rob banks? He said, that's where the money is. Duh. Look at this nice, here's Lincoln Hall. That's a music venue here on Lincoln. We're down to the six-way intersection of Fullerton, Lincoln, and Halstead. Major six-way intersection here near DePaul University, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We got 20 degrees, 7:39 in the a.m. We'll just tootle down Halstead here. Somebody sent me a nice video. Somebody, will have to go back by there at night. Somebody on Burling Street, I think, has a Christmas tree in every window, and it's one of those giant mansions there on Burling. And so we'll have to catch that at night. Thanks everybody here. We'll try to get across the street here. We're going across Lincoln here. No, this is no, we're on Lincoln. This is Halstead. So we want to, yeah, we'll cross over this way. This is Halstead. We were up, the Kingston Mines up that way. This is Fullerton. Thanks Grandma's Corner. Yeah, please subscribe for free here if you like this content. Subscribe for free. We'll check out the Lincoln Park Zoo tonight, zoo lights, and then we'll check out the Wiener Circle at lunch today. I'm working from home today, but we went downtown yesterday. We checked out the Christ Kendall Market there, Daily Plaza, and we saw the Bean and the ice skating, and we saw the Michigan Avenue lights. There, Raising Cane's. There's Lincoln. Yeah, we'll head down Halstead here. Yeah, useless chat crap. Blame Mark Zuckerberg. Blame Elon Musk. I know I try to treat this like a radio station. If you notice, I try not to curse. I try to have educational, historical content. We talk about politics, and you might not agree with my politics, but at least we're talking about something intelligent, and I try to not be part of the vast wasteland that is TikTok. I am too confused by some of the content and what takes off. There's a very successful woman, and I need to emulate, learn from her, because she has like 350,000 followers or 36 million likes on her page on TikTok. And all she does is she does news headlines and dances. She dances, films herself dancing in like sweatshirts, and she puts like headlines in the news. And people comment about the news, but she doesn't reply. She doesn't answer any of the comments. She doesn't interact with her audience at all. She records. It's perfect. It's like I need, because that's the, if you do, and of course, if you do news content, eventually you're going to get political comments in your comments, because any news article is political, because the news is political. That's why people can't stand to watch the news anymore, because it is political. Everything's political. This car is political. The snow's political. If you don't think the snow's political, talk to Mike Bolandic, who lost an election off of not removing the snow in the city soon enough. And Jane Byrne won the election because of that in 1979. We were talking about that, the blizzard of 79. Even snow is political. In the city it is. And but she doesn't interact with any of her followers. Like, she doesn't answer any of their comments. She doesn't even go live. She just films, she records herself dancing with the news headlines, and very successful at it. It shows you, and at least she's doing news headlines, and more people are getting their news through TikTok. We got to make sure it's not AI generated fake news. And they are starting to increase tools. They're going to start use tools where you can limit the amount of AI content that's delivered to your For You page, which is good. I want to turn that down to 0. I want 0 AI generated content going to my For You page. I want to see if they actually enforce it. Hey, there's a little bobcat clearing the snow. This is by DePaul University. We're on Halstead Street here. We're Halstead and Belden, 743. There's some nice stuff that way. Sometimes they have an ice skating rink over there, but DePaul University College of Education. Those trees look nice. Here, we'll head down. Yeah, there used to be a church here. Jennifer You Should Eat talks about it. Original site of the Children's Memorial Hospital. So that's what it was. This was the home of the Maurice Porter Memorial Hospital, an 8-bed cottage, 1882. 1904, the hospital was renamed the Children's Memorial Hospital. Then it moved up to Fullerton. It moved up to Fullerton in 1995. No, this building was constructed in 1995. Children's Hospital used to be there where those high-rises are, and then they tore it down and built those high-rise housing. And DePaul built this building in 1995. So maybe that church was associated with that hospital that Jennifer talks about. Yeah, people do a whole website with AI when you're the content writer. I know. It's like they're writing out the humans. Yeah, there's coding software where it'll do all the coding. You don't even have to be, you could just say, I want to create a website that does this, and it'll do all the coding. It's amazing how, and you might have to do a few iterations that work out the bugs. It does have some utility, but again, there's already begun major outsourcing of corporate jobs because of AI. Eventually it's going to hit blue-collar jobs as well. And I often say, and I know people don't want to hear this, and I might be wrong, but I'm just poisoning I want the people to think about this. There's a greater chance of AI taking your job than an illegal migrant. And, when billionaire corporations realize they can just milk the real humans like cows and use the AI robot humans for their work, they'll choose the AI robots over us any day. They don't need the rest of us. The stock market works without us, right? If we all stop spending, no, I think that would affect the stock market, but we can't get people to stop spending. We're so conditioned to just buy stuff all the time. We just went through the record-breaking Black Friday. Every year we buy and sell more stuff than the previous year. Some of that might be due to inflation, but yeah, I'm missing all the comments here. Yeah, it shows you even terms are political. The difference, if I use the term illegal immigrant or undocumented migrant, you get a reaction. If I say undocumented migrant, just like you in the comments, someone will put migrant question mark. The gaslighting continues. So would you rather me use illegal immigrant or undocumented migrant? They should be interchangeable, but they're not, because one's perceived as being political woke speech and the other's considered to be part of MAGA. Isn't that amazing? So even the terms we use to define things are political. Speech is political. All speech. Even if you try not to be political, even if you try to avoid talking about the news and politics, that is a political statement in of itself, saying there's nothing, everything's normal, we can live our lives, not be affected by what happens in Washington, D.C. or what happens in City Hall, which is untrue. You got to turn on the politics. They want people to not be paying attention to what they're doing so they can get away with stuff. And it's hard. You got to be diligent. Think of all the public advocacy groups, lawyers, all these things we take for granted, these rights we take for granted. Me too. Here, let's check out the snow here. We're heading down Halstead. There's Glasgow. $7.47. Yeah, I wanted to walk down to Burling and stuff, but I got to get to work here, so I'm gonna head straight over to. We'll go by Dorothy and Oz Park here. We'll just film the snow in Oz Park. Here's another St. Vincent de Paul Center building here, Family Services. But here we'll head down. We'll head towards Oz Park here. Thanks, Tammy. Thanks for the feedback there. Yeah, it looks slippery. It is slippery. The pyramids in Wadsworth. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. There's some suburban home where they got some giant, like, Luxor pyramids. and it's a big suburban lot. How you doing? I'm just heading over to Oz Park here. I'm on YouTube. Yeah, there's a big somebody's private residence. They built like pyramids and the Golden Sphinx. But I don't get out. You know, I don't have a car. I don't get out to the suburbs, so the odds of me filming that are like zero. And I'll film the Baha'i Temple in Wilmette before I'll film that. There's some beautiful Hindu temples out in the suburbs as well. That you know, the Baha'i Temple is the Baha'i faith, which is completely different. It's like Unitarian, but there's some beautiful mosques on the south side as well. We filmed some of those as well. But here's Oz Park. Here's the snow in Oz Park here, open from 6 to 11. See Lincoln Park High School's across the way. The downtown skyline's kind of in a fog here. You see there's some nice housing over here. But hey, here's the snow in Oz Park, Lincoln Park, Chicago. And this park's known for having the John Kearney statues of the 4 main characters of The Wizard of Oz. Now they got to add the witches. Now that we got the Wicked franchise, we got to add. And speaking of things being political, even the Trump administration used one of the songs from the Wicked movie to promote one of their MAGA videos, and people are upset about that because even they're trying to politicize the songs in Wicked. Oh my God! Hey, look at these cute dogs here heading down Webster Street. How you doing? Good morning. Yeah, we'll head over to the Dorothy statue here. Yeah, you want me to do a flip? I think Steve Lyon did a snow angel last night. He lays down. I think he did a snow angel by the lakefront the other day when we got all that snow. He got some amazing footage of the snow coming down by the lakefront with the waves. He has a video rerun that shows. No wonder he got 1.6 million likes on that live stream. Here's Dorothy with the ruby slippers. Dorothy and Toto, citizens of Oz Park. Yeah, she got the ruby slippers. Some people say the brick should be yellow, so for the yellow brick road, I know that would be a good idea. They do put people's names, people that donated to this park. Dorothy and Toto, 2007 John Kearney statue. This one's made out of bronze, but it's nice to see it in the snow there in her ruby slippers. And they call that Dorothy's Playground, but it's named after a teacher named Dorothy. There's a sled riding hill. So is there anybody sled riding? I can't tell if people are sled riding. That's one of the places we might be able to catch people sled riding near the Lincoln Park High School. I think students are going to school there, so I'll stay away from that for now. Here, we'll just head through Oz Park here. I'm going to stop at this grocery store on the way back, just pick up a few things. That way it makes my trip somewhat useful. I'm not just walking around. I actually did go to the grocery store and did something useful. Besides talking with all you, which is useful. Appreciate it. I'm missing all the comments here. Yeah, this is Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. We're in Chicago. Pakistan's tuning in. That's great. Yeah, the Baha'i Temple is amazing. I think Nick Koikin and Jennifer You Should Eat went up there. They filmed it. They got beautiful gardens all around there. And it's near the lake. It's where the North Branch of the Chicago River, there's it actually draws a little bit of water out of the lake there and flows south. It's amazing how it all works. The Malmerson Athletic Field, Oz Park, Chicago, Illinois, 20 degrees, 7:52. Grim Evil's tuning in. That's great. That looks like they took the plow truck through here, plowed these paths. There's some nice benches. Hey, that's a nice peaceful scene there in the snow. Go sit in Oz Park and sit on a bench. Come to the Emerald Gardens here. I hope you have a good Tuesday. We'll be on early at lunchtime. I'm going to try to catch the Wiener Circles. Have a 2,000 hot dog giveaway. Check out their webpage. I'm not getting paid to promote it. It's just I live near there, and Steve Lyon was there, and I said, hey, it's something to film maybe. Yeah, the trees are nice. It looks nice with the snow. See, parks are nice. Parks are always, you got, say what you want about Chicago, at least we have nice, big, beautiful parks all throughout the city. West side, south side, north side, lakefront. All our lakefront parks from the south to the north. We got beaches south to the north. And free accessible to the public. These public spaces we all share. And thanks for checking out. See you walking the dog, playing in the snow. Hey, the dog's got all the coats on. Yeah. Make some yellow snow. Phil's tuning in there. T-Lime Tea Time. Maria. Phil. Yeah, John, how's it going there?
Okay, puppy.
Snowy here in Miami, yeah. I'll visit you in January to get out of this weather. I'll be tired of it by then. But hey, somebody's got to live in the north. Hopefully you can make yourself feel better. But I don't mind the snow. That's why I'm good for the snow. Ernie said last night, he said it's too hot. He likes the cold weather. Here's Emerald City Gardens. Here's the Tin Man. We saw this on Saturday. And now we're back. Hey, the sun's coming out. Look, it's trying to burn through the fog there. There's the Scarecrow, John Kearney statue, again made out of bronze. Look, he's got his diploma in thinkology, doctor in thinkology. The wizard never gave the Tin Man nothing. Well, we'll see the Tin Man here in a second. Scarecrow in Oz Park. Hey, the nice snow-covered paths. 7:54. Yeah, we'll round it out here. We'll go to the Tin Man, and then I'm gonna I'll end this live, and then we'll see you at lunchtime there. Maybe like 11:30ish. We'll come on early today. We'll go up to the Wiener Circle. France, yeah, we got snow. We had some snow in November. Now we got snow beginning of December. It's staying cold, so might stay on the ground. Usually we get like another inch every once in a while. It adds to it, and then it packs down. This is more snow than we had last year at this time. Here's the John Kearney Tin Man statue. It's the six-way intersection of Larrabee, Lincoln, and Webster, Lincoln Park, Chicago. The park's called Oz Park, and that's why it has these statues. And John Kearney was known for making animalistic sculptures out of chrome bumper parts, but it's perfect for the Tin Man there. He's got his axe. Yeah, we know the Tin Man needs his oil can there. He's rusting away in the snow. All this snow moisture doesn't help him out. There's the Tin Man in Oz Park. Yeah, hope to see you at lunch there. Hope to see everybody at lunch there. So thanks for tuning in. We'll cross the street here, Larrabee and Lincoln. And yeah, be careful on the slippery streets here. They are slippery. We'll see how it goes later today. And if we don't see it at lunch, we'll try to see it tonight there at the Lincoln Park Zoo. They got a bunch of vendor booths where they're going to do artwork for recycled objects, make Christmas ornaments and things out of stuff that came out of landfill. Isn't that amazing? And and there's other things that we'll see there tonight. So there's Lincoln, Geneva Terrace, Larrabee, Lincoln Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. All the DePaul bars are that way. So hey, thanks for the gifts, like and follows. Thanks for people that gave me gifts and the super stickers or whatever, $2. I really appreciate that. Thanks to the mod team. We'll see you at lunch. We'll be at the Wiener Circle. We'll see who shows up for that. Great walk there. Hey, thanks, Michael. Thanks, AUNIFR. Call me Fat Jesus. July. Phil Goodyear. Michael Rodriguez. Thanks for being on all the Michaels. Grim Evil. LAS line. Last line. Yeah, Grandma's Corner, thanks for being on. May Met, you dirt. Central Montana there, yeah. John, D-Line Tea Time. One Golden Nubian, have a good day. Lambie T, thanks for being on. July is Hedgehog Rescue. There you go, I can read it now. Christy. Okay, I'm signing off there. So Angel, thanks July. We'll see everybody here. Mia, Angel, Phil, we'll see everybody there later.